Welcome back to the Elias Macko Show, second hour of the program. Montreal Police Chief Fady Dagher says he's giving himself 5 years to stamp out systemic racism within the force. The goal, the year 2030. He's got a 4-year plan that has a 4-point strategy. We'll get into that in just a moment. But, I should point out that this is a police force that has been fraught with other stories in its past. Remember, there was a report in 2019 that confirmed that certain minorities were still disproportionately targeted for random police checks. The Quebec Superior Court ordered the SPVM and the city to pay $171 million to victims of racial profiling. The city is currently appealing that judgment. So let's talk about the vision and that 4-year plan with Montreal's police chief, Fady Dagher. He's in studio. Chief Dagher, merci beaucoup. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Mr. Makos.
Okay, let's start off with this plan and why the plan is necessary.
Well, I like the way you went back when you were talking about the racial profiling and discrimination. In 2019, there was a report, and I was, as soon as I became the chief of Montreal in 2022, I recognized this racial profiling systemic and the systemic discrimination. But when I came, it wasn't the time to put a plan in place because I had to make sure that the troops were beside me, following me. So we did many activities with the community. We did many activities with the police department, inside, outside. We changed the criteria to be, if you want to become police officer in Montreal. We even changed the criteria with the profile of the police officer. We use much more social profile for the next police officers. The skills of interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence was much more present for the next recruit that came in 3 years ago. Since all this was done, and we have amazing other projects like immersion and all that, now we are mature to go to that plan. That plan is addressed to the inside of the police department and the outside. How are we going to do it?
You want to change the look of the department.
Well, I wanted the department to adapt and to be able to be the mirror of the society. So just a recruitment, to give you an example. In the history of the SPVM, we were around 6% of the minority visible police officer inside the troops. Now we are 17%. Women, we used to be a lower percentage. Now we are between 36 to 42%. So I want to make sure that the next chief, the next department in 5 years, going to resemble to the community. Yeah. I don't like talking about changing the culture because the culture, some of it is very good. Some of the old culture.
And you don't want to tell your police force
that everything is bad.
Yeah.
No, and to be honest, not everything is bad. Some of it is extremely good, and we're still using that kind of approach that we used to use 20 years ago. But we must adapt. The society is changing. The community is changing. The human being himself or herself is being much more complex to address, to talk to those people, and how we can prepare the police officer to that complexity.
But I just, because I think we've discussed this in the past, the random police checks.
Yeah.
You feel, and I've heard from other people in law enforcement that feel, no, there's a need. They're useful because the city is appealing the judgment. So, I'm just trying to balance those two things there. So what is your take on those random checks and their role? I
always mention it, and there's a study that came, the people that did a study on SPVM in 2019, in 2021, 22, they came out with some recommendation. One recommendation to install the moratoire. Yeah. No more street checks. I say, wait a minute. Yeah. The tool is not the issue. It's the way we apply it. So let us put some
parameters
and we can make that tool better, but don't change the tool. We want to make sure that we're able to intervene, talk to the people. If we see something bizarre, we want to be able to talk to that person. And you're right. Yeah. Most of the community are like, no, don't take away that power that the police have. But if we have that kind of power, we have to use it smart way, and the legal way also.
Okay, so it's interesting, right? Because sometimes the legal way there's a conflict between the legal way and what would be the best policing, right? You're obviously aware of the term like disparate impacts,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So I want to get to that for a bit, right? Because we've seen in the U.S. the Justice Department said disparate impact we don't use that anymore. And basically for our listeners, right? Let's say you look at your arrests, right? And there's a specific group, a minority that is 5% of the population, but they make up 20% of the arrests, right? A lot of people would say that's proof of racism. Right there. You look at those two numbers, that means it's racism. Now in the States, they're saying, no, you can't use that as a tool. Where do you stand on that?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the state because I don't follow the culture of the policing in the States. Okay? We're in Montreal. You're Montrealers. I am Montrealers. I even don't follow the rules or the way police is being done in the west of Canada. This is a special society, Montreal, the Quebec province. So for me, I have to be careful the way I'm going to mention it to you. But the 5%, I still have to listen to them because if there's some discrimination, the biggest trap that we can do together here is not to listen to it.
Yeah. So because you mentioned it, it's like usually it's people from the community that are begging for more police services, not less.
And they're asking, please be more present, please make more arrestation. But again, that's one thing. You're asking me to do more, but I have to be careful the way we do it.
Yeah.
Because if some of my community lose the trust in the police, and to be honest with you, this is one of my major worry. It's never lose the trust of any part of the community, even the minority groups. I still have to be able to show them that, hey, your police is professional.
You have the 4-year plan, or with Montreal Police Chief Fady Dagher, your 4-year plan, this is the strategy: identify discriminatory practices, improve police interactions, get closer to the community, maintain a workplace free of discrimination. Real world, on the ground, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, let's say you take a police officer working in different districts of Montreal, and for whatever reason, he's making jokes on women. He's a sexist. He's a kind of guy, macho guy, who doesn't like to work with women, and he's making some jokes. Well, those kind of jokes, we want to make sure we want to address them, because it starts like that with little things. Slowly, you've been targeted in your police station, and you don't know what you can do about it. But the supervisors, the managers, gonna have some indicators. And the same indicators for all the police in Montreal. So at least we're going to be treating those cases in the same way. Right now, if I'm a chief of one police station and you are the chief of another police station, it's very subjective. Now what we want to do, we want to be much more objective, and we tell the manager, you have the criteria. This is what discrimination is about. This is what racial profiling is about. Well, make sure that your police officers, if you have comments, if you have the way of treating black police officer in the department or outside the department in a certain way, you have to address it right away. If not, you are involved also. You are part of the problem.
So listen, I know you say you don't look at the States, you don't want to look at Western Canada, you don't want to look at other places. No, but there is some, and I get. By the way, you're always going to look. I get that. There is some evidence, that says too much of a focus on sex, gender, race, religion, too much of a focus on that actually is like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and things get worse.
Yes, because the majority group, they fear that they're being less listened to, less attention to them. But the right word that you just mentioned is too much. That's why I'm talking about the balance. And I have to be really careful. Like, if you give a voice to 5%, and let on the side the 95%, even in politics. When you see what happened in the state, you wonder how come Mr. Trump became the president. It's because people were not listening to the other side. So you know what?
Well, it's refreshing to hear you talk in those terms, right?
No,
because it's sometimes you hear all or nothing.
No,
and you're looking for a balanced approach.
I'm always in the gray zone.
Okay, I want to get to one other thing. Okay, one other non-related to this 4-point strategy here. I'm going to read you a headline. Okay, this is a headline ripped from the headlines yesterday. Okay, Montreal police arrest suspect accused of sexually assaulting minors on city buses. The headline is bad enough. Then I read the story, and it's like, this guy, he's got a rap sheet. All he does is sexually assault people. He's got a history. Right now, police believe he may have other unidentified victims.
And we are looking for those victims.
He's been charged with sexual offenses in the past. So this, to me, Chief, is what is getting me. You guys are doing the work. You're making the arrests. But then you look, 2017 arrested, 2014 arrested, 2026 arrested. Probably did more that we don't even know about. Sorry, I'm slamming my phone. I'm so upset.
But
what do we do about this? If you do your work, but then the justice system says, hey, get out of jail free card, it's monopoly.
It's I'm a chief of police, but I'm a human being also. And I have 2 daughters. And I can tell you stories like that.
Yeah.
My police officer on the field, they're discouraged. They are discouraged because they are doing the job, you're right. They are arresting the people. And a few days later, we see them on the street again.
A few days later.
Oh, yeah, a few days or a few weeks max. Because they have a promesse à comparaître. And they have a conditions and probation. But they're back on the streets.
Is it a joke?
Let me not comment that. But I can tell you
Is it an embarrassment?
I'm
sorry. I'm
so
sorry.
No, Mr. Marcos, these are good questions. Someone somewhere have to wake up.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. You saw what happened in the Dagher a few 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like we saw it coming, and that gentleman, the victim sitting on his counter working, is hours and hours to die this way. We knew the suspect. We had history with him, and I'm like, where are we going to wake up collectively as a society and say enough is enough?
All right, so
enough is enough.
You don't have to point fingers here, but this is politicians, right?
This part of it is politicians. Part of it is justice system. Part of it is, I think, to be honest with you, in general, like. But there's something happening.
Yeah.
I feel it. I hear you, and you represent the population when I hear you. I think there's people are fed up. People are like, enough is enough. Like, to give you an example, I don't know if you heard about yesterday, the Minister of the Health System in Quebec, they deposited the P38, the law for us to give us the tools to be able to stop someone and bring him to psychiatric
for mental health issues.
Issue. I'm very happy, and I think it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect, but at least someone somewhere listen to the need that's coming from the cops, coming from the health system and for the mental health system, saying the P38 is only addressed, the police officer can stop the person only when the person is ultimately completely in danger for himself or other people. Which we are changing it. I said no.
I think we're both looking forward to the court case where a judge rules it's against the Charter of Human Rights and Freedoms, and you can't do it.
And you know what? Maybe it's going to happen. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Police Chief Fady Dagher right there. Chief, you're great. Thank you for coming in the studio. I love our discussions. Let's do it again soon, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Montreal's Police Chief Fady Dagher.
Hello, Canada.
This is Bryan Adams Radio. Hosted by Bryan Adams himself.
We'll play a few of mine, a ton of my favorites, and some must-hear behind-the-scenes stories from the world of rock and roll. One thing about doing rock and roll so long is you end up meeting a lot of the people that you admire. Sometimes you even get to work with them.
It's only love, and that's all. Bryan Adams Radio. I'm coming back to you. Now available on the free iHeartRadio app.
Everybody,